let's talk to David. Has questions about emissions exemptions, which is the everyone has questions about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk to
Hi,
David.
David.
All right, so I have an inspection due.
Mm-hmm.
I have a check engine light. I have two potential issues. We're addressing the one next week. I remember back in the day when the emissions program rolled out, if you spent X number of dollars and you still failed emissions, you could apply for an exemption. Is that correct, or
It's
how does
actually
that work if you spend money and then you just can't solve the problem?
So what you're asking about is an emissions waiver, which is different from the exemption. So an exemption is for like a new car or a car that's been driven less than 5,000 miles a year. A waiver can be requested by the owner of the car if the car fails emissions. You make an attempt to fix the emissions related part of why the car failed. So if the car failed for an EGR problem, and you go and you put like a fan belt on it, they're not going to count that towards trying to fix the emissions problem. So they're not related at all. So it has to be related. Now, if you have a professional shop do it, they can count the diagnostics in towards the repair and the labor. If you do it yourself, only the parts count towards that $150 for the waiver. So, and it has to be directly related. Go ahead.
So the car would have to be inspected prior to qualify for the waiver.
Yep. So you're going to have to take it in. It'll fail emissions inspection, and then you have to make an attempt to repair whatever is broken, and then you can take it back for the free retest within 30 days, and when it fails the second time, then you can apply for the waiver. But you will also need the receipts and the form that they give you on the first time it failed, which is called a VIR form, I believe. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember.
So not all garages accept the exemptions, or how? I mean,
so you're going to have to find a garage that will do the waiver for you. There's a lot of them that don't do it. Because what happens is when you do a waiver, they have what they call the quality assurance officer that comes into the shop and checks your inspection programs. And as soon as you write a waiver, it basically red flags it for the state. And they come in and they check every waiver that you write and make sure the paperwork's correct on it. And if you make a mistake on the paperwork and you don't process it correctly, they can take your inspection license. So a lot of places will have no interest in doing the waivers.
Okay, because my emission problem is due to the oxygen sensors being faulty.
Okay.
So I didn't know if that was something that we had mentioned.
Yeah, that would be.
Be. But you have to at least do the diagnostic and attempt. So if you did a diagnostic, and then you took the car, so you know what's wrong with it, and then you replace the O2 sensors, the parts, and the diagnostic would.
Yeah, any diagnostics by a professional shop can be counted towards the waiver amount. So towards that $150. The part, if you know it's the oxygen sensors that are causing the problem and you buy if the shop gets 2 oxygen sensors, puts them in for you, you can claim the labor that they charged you plus the oxygen sensors that they put in for you. If you buy the oxygen sensors and put them in yourself, only the oxygen sensors count towards the $150. Okay. Unless you have.
Well, I'm having the.
Go ahead.
Having the mechanic do all. I'm having the mechanic do all the work, or that's part of it. Then there's another part of it too. It has a capless gas cap on it, and it doesn't seal right. So
yeah.
So yeah, there's just
multiple issues.
I mean, and the car runs great, and I get great gas mileage. But if I didn't live in an emissions county, this wouldn't be an issue.
That is true.
Yeah. But if you did the O2, if the shop does the O2 sensor and gets the check engine light to turn out, which is sometimes if you reset it and then drive it, it'll stay off until like the evap runs.
Until it checks that
gas cap again. Then
but
there's a window there. You could actually just not have to pay for a waiver and get just a regular emissions done on it with the O2 sensors replaced. Yep. So you wouldn't have to worry about a waiver.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing.
It's obnoxiously complicated. I'm sorry.
Because I was going to go get the oxygen sensors repaired, replaced this week. Well, I'm thinking, my inspection is due. Is like, can I do that instead and see what happens? Because if I did it after, I can't. If I did it before the fact, then that
you couldn't claim it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you have him do the emissions inspection before you have the oxygen sensors in, it will fail inspection. So you'll have your first failure. You'll put the oxygen sensors in, and then you'll end up driving it. And if the light comes back on the second time before you retest it, and it fails the second time, then you can do the waiver. If the light stays out and the computer does all its tests and checks everything and everything's okay, he'll do the test and it'll pass, and you won't have to worry about the waiver.
So can I drive the car past inspection if it fails the first initial?
If you have paperwork that said it failed, you usually can, because you can say, hey, we have parts on order for this. And I would say as long as you're within a reasonable time period, I wouldn't be like 3 months out going, hey, I'm trying to do this. But, if you're a week or two out, I wouldn't see why, if you got pulled over for it, the police would give you a bad time. Because you could say, hey, it passes safety inspection, but I can't get a safety inspection sticker on until the emission sticker's on it. So
they can do the safety portion of it.
Yeah, they can look it over. They can look it over for safety inspection at the same time. And as long as you have a printout from the shop that says, hey, it passes safety inspection, but it can't. I can't get the sticker put on it because it doesn't pass emissions, because it has to pass emissions before you can put a safety inspection sticker on the car. So it basically keeps you from getting a safety inspection sticker. So, and we've done that for people already, that we've gone and said, hey, you know what? This passes safety inspection, and we'll write it up and tell them just to carry the paperwork. That way, in case they get pulled over, they can show the police officer, hey, here's the paperwork. The shop says it passes safety inspection. We're driving it for the emissions, for the computer to reset and check all the stuff. And I haven't heard anybody getting a bad time from it. But, you're kind of showing the proof that, hey, look, I'm trying I'm working on it. I'm abiding by the law here. And, I just need a little bit more time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure. I'm just trying to be tactful and just, trying to throw good money, try to do the right thing first instead of trying to fix the problem, then get it inspected.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get it inspected first. Okay. Let it fail, just in case you do need to go down the waiver route.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
All right.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.